Welcome to another episode of Ask Karen Lee. Today's episode is a little bit racy. So I warned my son ahead of time that I might be blogging about sex, and he left a voicemail that I thought I'd share with you people. And it's really funny, so here goes.
Mother, this is your oldest son. I haven't read the blog post, so not to worry. But I will tell you that the message alone, your message to us, is very disturbing. I don't know what the fuck you put on that blog post. I don't know if you're into any fucking weird fetish shit. I don't think the world needs to know, and I will ask you that if you're going to post these on the internet, please make sure to not have the last name associated with these posts.
It's just funny to me that all of a sudden people think it's okay to talk about sex because there's a book out. It's on the bestseller list. My first introduction to the 50 Shades of Grey book was I was sitting in a beauty salon. I heard a lady whispering about the book to someone else, and I'm like, what are you guys whispering about? And she's like, oh, haven't you heard about 50 Shades of Grey? And I'm like, no, I haven't heard about that. And they say, well, it's about bondage and this dominant man over this young woman. And I go, that sounds like my kind of book. The next thing I know, it's been talked about in the gym, and it's talked about in the grocery store. Everywhere you go, they're talking about 50 Shades of Grey. My 80-year-old mother-in-law is talking about it. My kids' friends are talking about it. So it appeals to all ages. It's not the best literature. It's not the most well-written book. It just happens to make sex something that people can actually talk about. And I love the fact that my friends, boyfriends, and husbands say they don't read it, but they seem to know all the different topics that are talked about. And my take is, why not talk about sex? I mean, why not let this 50 Shades of Grey revolution keep going? I've always been comfortable talking about sex. I remember even in my sorority pulling out a vibrator and having all my friends around me were all talking about sex, and there's nothing wrong with sharing ideas about it. As a matter of fact, if sexual incompatibility is one of the main reasons for divorce, it seems that we'd have a lot less divorce if we started talking about sex. A lot of times men are afraid to tell women what they want, and women are afraid to tell men what they want. And a lot of people have this problem, and they don't share it with their friends and share their techniques for solving the problem. For example, if it's helped a couple to watch porn together, share that with your friends. The next time you're at another dinner party and you're talking with another couple, talk about the things that have made your marriage and your sexual life work. Men are very visual. They like to watch porn. That's why strip clubs are so popular. Whereas women, we get turned on by reading about it and fantasizing. So I think that is what makes 50 Shades of Grey so popular with women, because it's a fantasy that they read about, and they can visualize themselves in the roles that they've read about. And Nancy Fridays has several books out about sexual fantasy. So I would suggest reading those. But more so, it's nice to talk about it with your friends. Talk about things that have worked. Talk about things that don't work. Talk about vibrators if you use them. I recommend several on my website here. So basically what I'm trying to say is 50 Shades of Grey has opened the door for women in particular to talk about sex and what turns them on. Let's keep the 50 Shades revolution rolling. Let's keep talking about sex. It's not a shady subject anymore. I do need to apologize to my son publicly for maybe embarrassing him with this public video blog.